Hi, my name is Matt Carroll with World Class Coaching, and today with Academy Sports Coach 2022, I want to talk to you a little bit about some 1v1 skill builders. And I got a lot of these ideas from this book, 1v1 Soccer Skills Builders, Volume 2. And you check that the link to that in the description below. Some really great drills in here that I think really can work on not just dribbling. We can talk about playing at a cone, dribble this cone, dribble that cone, and there's a time and place for that for sure. But using that dribbling ability and getting that repetition, but getting it in a way that is game replicant, and we're seeing elements of the game played out in the 1v1 dribbling. Not to knock anything where you're going cone to cone or you're pulling moves into space or it's just repetition stuff like that. That's where your baseline can be. But then you're gonna want to move on from there. You don't want to move on. Hey, I have a million kids that can pull an L turn, but once you say, all right, let's pull this L turn in 1v1, it becomes very difficult. You're pulling things from kids and you're asking them, hey, can you do this? Absolutely. Can you do it against a guy? Well, no, I don't really feel comfortable with that. So these 1v1 skill builders drills we have here are really focused on recreating game-like situations and having the players pull these moves in a way that they're going to be able to replicate out on the field. So this first thing we got here is we have a box. This could be coned off, obviously. We have just the lines here. I really like this feature with the Academy Soccer Coach where I can just click and the feature just pops up on the screen here for me. Really great, especially if you're using a touch screen, which I like to do once in a while with a stylus. So we have our grid coned out, and this would be much smaller. It's not really to scale. We can make it even tinier. But you have these two players on opposite ends, each with a ball. Now, one thing I like to do without the ball, I really like this concept that I stole from actually a rugby coach, is you have the players go on all fours and have the bear crawl, and you play tag here, where they have to stay on the outside of the lines. They can't go in the middle. They can't go around. They have to go around the cones. They can't cut across. And say the yellow player is trying to, in a bear crawl, tag the player in black over here. Really great exercise. For little kids, really fun. Gets them moving, gets them excited. It's a silly little thing. For older kids, you do it for, tag back and forth for 30 seconds to a minute. It quickly becomes, for the older kids, a conditioning drill. So we move on from there to where we would have players dribbling at each other, trying to tag each other. So yellow is trying to tag black, but it's all with the ball. So here we're talking about how we can control the ball. One thing I think is an underutilized skill here is a little chop cut with the outside of your foot. Having players be, turn in circles with the outside of their foot is a really great way to kind of activate that as an initial drill. But really getting those players to tightly cut their hips around. So you cut with your outside of your foot, but you flip your hips around so you get here and you can cut the ball and straight up have your hips facing towards this direction to cut quickly. It's definitely something we want to utilize here. Quick cuts to get to that player in black over here. For the player in black, trying to avoid the yellow player, pulling moves is definitely something we want to focus on. Maybe at Maradona around the outside of a cone. Maybe it's an L turn to change direction to go back around. But you really getting the players to utilize those skills. Now, the way we can monetize that or gamify it here is to have players, and for every move you successfully pull, you get a point. For every 30 seconds you haven't got caught, you get a point. For every time you are on opposite cones, we give a point. So creating the distance, dribbling with speed. Whatever we're trying to replicate, whatever we're trying to get out of this drill, we can do a lot with it and move things around. Again, if we're really focused on quick cuts and dribbling with speed, you're focused on the defender. If you're working on moves to beat your guy, you're working on the player that is holding onto the ball and is trying to avoid being tagged. And again, you can set this up right away from a conditioning drill, moving into a dribbling drill, activation drill. A lot of stuff you can do here. We can even add another one where we can, again, I love that feature, throw the mannequin in the middle here. And at a certain point, they're playing tag. Whoever's not it, coach blows whistle. They're quickly trying to play a pass to the mannequin. So yellow's here, whistle blows. Black is the guy that is not it. Plays his pass. He's trying to quickly, from wherever he's at. It's not going to be he's faced up to the mannequin already. He's over here. He's going to pull a move and try to get a pass off to the mannequin while the yellow player then tries to defend. So we're going to be utilizing the dribbling, element of it. But why are we dribbling? We're dribbling to create this passing lane. So if he's on his tail, he pulls, a dummy fake, pulls this way, Maradona, he pulls an L turn, Cruyff, whatever, creates that space, gets enough separation so he can play that mannequin pass. And you can set a time limit on it so it's not over and over again. But I think this is a really great way to activate a lot of the skills we're going to use, teach them in isolation, but with a defensive pressure on. So where we would go from here is we get a little more complicated. I'll clear the field here, where we would have basically a circle of cones here, or maybe a diamond. Here I got a pentagon. Just something where you have a series of gates. Oh, we got way too many gates now. That's fine. And we want to create a circle with these gates. Now here we have a lot of options. You can cut this down to a box, whatever you want to do. It'll be clear once we get this set up. So what we'll have in here is, just for number's sake, we'll go maybe 2v6. So I got one defender here, I got one defender here. They're in the box. And then I've got, just for example, we'll actually go 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we got our attackers out here, and they all have a ball. And we got a ring in the middle. Now, again, you can up the numbers here. You can have more defenders, more attackers. You can have less cones, make it a little more difficult. That's how you're going to vary the difficulty and the numbers you have in your session. So what we have here is you have 2 defenders who are constantly on their toes trying to guard all the different gates there are here. So again, we cut it down and break a couple cones off and make it a 4. Make that a little bit more easy to follow. So now you've only got a couple ways measuring. And there we go. So all 4 of these guys are trying to dribble through this box or octagon, pentagon, whatever you got in there. And the way they score is if they're able to dribble straight through and go direct and break this line and dribble right past these guys without the defenders winning the ball, that would be 3 points. Now, if they enter in one gate and they don't go straight across, but they're able to exit through another gate, that would be 2 points. And if they're able at the end of the grade to get turned back, they only get 1 point. So you're looking to see who can score the most points in this session. And again, you're going to make it more difficult for the defenders. If you add more of these different gates, you make it bigger, make it smaller, that's going to make it more difficult or easier. But again, you have this idea of, hey, we're dribbling, controlling, possessing the ball, but now we're going to go at somebody. And, can we see, I like to teach, can we see the back of the defender? If you see the back numbers, you can find a goal, you can find space going forward, you can find a pass. All right, you found a way that you've, you're in behind them. You really have them at your will. They can't see you. They're having to turn, find you. So you can see the defender's back. That's when we attack. So the player comes in. Maybe they're distracted by this player. See the numbers, and we go quickly right across the middle there. So teaching, hey, you're possessing the ball. Not just running into a guy. Hey, look, there's an opening here. I'm going to try to force it. The guy's standing right here, waiting for your chance, being patient on the ball, and then taking guys on when you find that time. So again, this is a little too easy. We're going to pop in another defender here, and that's going to make it a little more challenging, a little more hectic. But again, it's not just about, hey, dribble here, do a move, pull back. Hey, now we're waiting to execute the skill at the exact right time. And then we're going to take this up a notch where we're going to create a little bit more of a game-like situation. So here we'll have 4 gates. That players can dribble through. And we'll get rid of our defenders, actually. One of them. And we'll go, let's say, 2v2. Balls. We only need 1 ball on for this. And we'll bring on a few bumper players. So let's say for this, we'll have 4 bumper players. And they will be on neutrals for each team. So what we're looking for here is a pass from one of our players for the bumper player who then passes it in, and this player tries to score through the gate. So we're using the dribbling in a number of ways. We're using the dribble to find space to maintain possession. Okay, so we don't want yellow to win the ball because they can play quickly to one of the bumper players. So we're using the dribble to maintain possession. We're using the dribble to create passing lanes, so beat our man, go by him, so we can pass the ball. And we're using the dribbling to create scoring chances. So this guy plays here to the bumper player. The ball is played back in. This player then, we play 1v1. He pulls a move. The other player plays flyby, and we get a pass and a score here. Final way we would make this a little more difficult is we would bring on goalies into the we would bring goalies into the gates. Now they're going to be playing anything on the ground, so these goals get a little groundwork. Every pass has to be through on the ground, just like a clear, if it's ankle high, that's fine. So the goalies are getting a little groundwork, but the guys on the field are looking to play the 1-2 and quickly get that pass, beat the man, and find the dribble. All the things we've been talking about through the entire session. So I'll include the link to this book in the description below. But also, I'd like to add, if you guys have any other ideas for how you utilize 1v1 skill building drills, please leave that in the comments on this video. So again, my name is Matt Carroll with World Class Coaching. I'm the Health Academy Sports Coach 2022. I hope this session finds you well.